Hey guys, so I think we are live here. And yesterday, I'm just going to do a quick check while I'm talking. So yesterday I did a poll in the group, finding out what your biggest stress relievers were. And I actually wasn't surprised by a lot of the answers, being the top ones were sex and working out. There's a huge reason for that. But the thing is that many of you may find that throughout your career, those really helped you with your stress at the beginning of your career and throughout. But you may have gotten to a point where your motivation and drive just got so low, where in your workouts, injuries started taking you out. It was starting to take all of your energy just to even get to the gym. It was, and same thing with sex, where it was just almost taking too much effort. I'm not a guy, so I can't really speak for you guys, but I have heard things like erectile dysfunction issues and things like that that do start creeping up through time on the job. The number of guys that come to us when they start a program that are on testosterone shots too blew me away in the beginning. I wasn't expecting so many of you to actually be on testosterone shots, but there's a reason for that. So let's start off with at the start of your shift to explain why there was that huge sex drive. If any of you have listened to Lieutenant Dave Grossman, he talks about how anybody who is doing training for any officers to definitely let the female officers know that they may skip their periods. And the reason is that when you are in this heightened stress state of your training, when you're in all of these scenarios every single day, pushing really hard, your sex hormones increase. And with that, all your sex hormones increase. And with that, then your sex drive goes up. So there's a lot of, you may know of the rumors when you guys were in school, in your training, of a lot of sexual relations happening between a lot of the those in the program. Guys were often going out and getting relief. The girls, for them, they're obviously outnumbered, so they could actually find a counterpart in to give themselves that release. But what was happening with that? We are sticking here. Okay, what was happening with that was that when you're in your first state of overdrive, when you are getting to that push of the cortisol is pumping out, what happens is in your hormonal pathways, as they're going down, cortisol and testosterone are joined. So I imagine it kind of like being a mountain where your hormones start at the top, and as they start going down, they split and they start doing different jobs as they're going down that mountain. And at the bottom of the mountain is where cortisol and testosterone split. So in the beginning of your career, whenever you were in a stress state, so you're training, when you were in a stress state, when they're just rushing to a call, lights and sirens, you have all of this stress, energy, hormone floating through your body, all that adrenaline. And it needs to go. So it starts flowing down that cortisol and down that testosterone peak. And so your sex drive goes through the roof, and you need to release it. So you release it with sex, you release it with working out, you release it with martial arts, you release it with going for a really hard jog, any of those things. What you can relate this to is an animal in the woods. So, you know, when like a deer or an animal gets scared, after they're scared, they shake, they get that whole shake. What they're doing is releasing these stored cortisol, the stored stress hormones that are in their body. And then what happens is that they get rid of it. They're gone. They go on their way and they're fine. But if you're not able to get to a workout, if you're not able to go for a run right away, if you're not able to go and have sex right away, then these hormones are flying around in your body. And that can, when you're in overdrive, that can be the source of that short fuse, being in that hypervigilant state where you can't get out. And all of these things start happening. And the thing is that you may get to a call totally cleared, but you can't go and do anything at that particular moment in order to release those stress hormones. So what happens is, over time on the job, is you have so many different situations where you are not able to release that hormone floating around in your body. And so your brain after a while says, what the heck is going on? We really, really need to get rid of this, or we keep sending this out and we keep cleaning it up. So why are we sending so much out? So it actually starts turning it down more and more and more. And so you may find that your coffee gives you a jolt, and then you get that hit. It pushes more cortisol, adrenaline into you, which gives you more energy to get through parts of your shift. But once it's worn off, you may find that where your energy started before that coffee is even lower. And the reason is your brain sits there and says, what the heck are you doing? I thought we've turned this down. You just put more in me. Let's turn down your natural cortisol even more. So it starts turning it down more and more and more. So you may find you're good on a call. You may find that you can get to that call, you can stay focused, you get into that hypervigilant state. But once you're done, your body shuts it all down. So the paperwork becomes exhausting, your brain fog kicks in. And what happens in that hormonal pathway, if we go back to that mountain where I said everything was flowing through and flowing down and flying down that cortisol and the testosterone, well, all of that water that's coming down that mountain now has slowed down. So then we find that you still need some for your cortisol energy hormone. So it starts taking it from that testosterone. So your sex drive goes down, erectile dysfunctions come in. For females as well, their cycles start getting completely out of whack. You may get perimenopausal earlier. I know for me, I'm 46 now. When I was in my 30s, I thought I was perimenopausal from all of my signs and symptoms. And now in my 40s, I'm totally fine. I'm not even close I'm not there right now at all, because my hormones were completely out of whack with my stress when you're in that burnout stage. So when you get to this stage where your sex drive is low, where your energy and motivation is drive, where coffees may give you a little hit or don't even give you that hit anymore, energy drinks don't, then what happens from that is that's telling us that your cortisol, your energy, your stress hormone has been slowed down so much by your brain that you have gone from overdrive into burnout. So the beginning of your career, that high sex drive was overdrive, that high sex drive and everything was in overdrive. Now you're in that burnout stage. So these doctors go and they give you testosterone shots. And there's a couple of things that would happen with that is that's just pumping testosterone in, but that has to go through the pathway still. And it goes through the pathway and same thing, starts streaming more down the other way and doesn't go as much to your testosterone side. It may go a little bit. So you may get a little bit of a rise. But we find with most of you guys, you get a rise in the beginning with the shots, but then after a while, the shots don't take effect anymore, is because your brain is again saying, hey, I thought we turned all this down because you're sending it out all the time. Let's turn it down more and more and more. So it starts turning down your testosterone, turning down your cortisol more and more and more. So your sex drive goes out the window. Your ability to get that relief in the gym goes out the window to the point where you have no motivation and drive to push weights, to get through your martial arts, through your combative training. So these things that in the beginning were needed, were necessary, were important to manage your stress, when you're at a stage of burnout, they actually enhance your burnout. They actually add more stress to it. So you may find that when you're getting to a stage of burnout, that a workout after, you're actually more short fused for a day or two after. You may be more tired. Your body doesn't recover the way that it used to. You may find after sex that you are a little more moody for a day or two after, that you don't have the desire like you used to have sex again. You may not have lasted this long. It may not have been as great of an experience. Your orgasm may not have been as great. All of these things start decreasing and decreasing the further that you get into burnout. So what we need to do with that is, first off, is really look at the big picture. If your sex drive has totally changed, then we need to start looking at the other symptoms. Short fuse, hypervigilance, low motivation and drive. Gut is a big one. Indigestion. Are you on any antacids, proton pump inhibitors? Do you have diarrhea, constipation, or both? Do you worry about what food you eat because of the payback? Do you avoid veggies? Is a huge one, that when your gut is at a certain point that you can't even break them down anymore, so they come out the same way that they went in. Sorry if this is too graphic, but gut issues are huge. Because a lot of these hormones need to go through your gut to go out into your bloodstream. So when your gut is thrown off because of your whole stress system, with the hormones, with your nervous system shutting down your, the nervous system shutting down your gut, you end up getting into this whole vicious circle. And so everything plays on everything. And if we only look at the one symptom, like, let's just only look at your testosterone and let's only treat that, you're not fixing the root of the problem. If you only look at your cholesterol, you're not fixing the root of the problem. If you only look at your blood sugars, you're not fixing the root of the problem. If you only look at the not being able to sleep or your gut stomach acid issues, all of these things are linked. And if we only treat one or the other, then it doesn't fix the root of the problem. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys, how many of you have experienced different things, cholesterol or proton pump inhibitors for antacids, gastro issues, sleeping, trying to fix things with sleep, trying to fix it actually with exercise or healthy eating, all of these things. Have you guys tried these things? And when you're focusing on just one symptom, does that fix it all? Has that fixed everything that has occurred through your career as it's come along? I'm going to take a guess and say no. And the reason I'm going to say that is because if we don't actually dig into your hormones, your nervous system, and your gut and treat them all together, treat them all as one, and we only just look at the one symptom, we're not going to be able to fix the problem. When you are in a high stress state, your stress system takes a beating. So I kind of link this to your car. So when you're in overdrive, your car is revving too high. When you're in burnout, your battery is dead. So when your battery is dead, we need to boost it. And we boost it by starting to get your cortisol, your stress hormone, actually low at night so that your brain can shut off and you can fall asleep. You don't have those rambling thoughts, the tired and wired. And we get you waking with energy and having it high. So we start getting that into a normal cycle again. So that's pretty much like we're getting your car started again. Thing is, same thing with a car. If we go in and do that, we boost your battery, but we don't lift up the hood of your car and actually dig into the engine and figure out what the heck is wrong, your battery's going to die again. Absolutely going to die. So what we need to do then is dig into that hood. And as I said, that's your nervous system, your hormones, and your gut that we need to work together at fixing. So you may find in the car too that you get one part working, it still doesn't work quite properly because there's another one that's off in the car. And the thing is with that is you can go and put in the best quality of gases you want, but if that engine is not working, then the engine is not going to be able to work. It's not going to help that engine work optimally. And premium gas is really healthy eating and is that exercise and everything that you're doing for that stress relief. That's not going to work until your engine, your stress response system is strong enough. Once it's strong enough, then those tools are great to help keep it going, keep everything going. But even with that exercise and nutrition, that premium gas going in, you still need to do maintenance checks. You still need to oil and lube your gut. You still need to make sure that your hormones are staying in that circadian rhythm, especially right now with all the COVID stresses going on. Like I've heard so many increases in COVID recently. There's been a huge rise, so many places. And that has added a lot of overtime for you guys. It's added a lot of family guilt, a lot of stressors as well, that your stress systems are taking that beating. So that exercise and nutrition isn't going to help at that point in time if you're not keeping those regular lubes and oil checks in your stress system. So it's really, really important for you guys to understand that that sex drive was hugely important for you guys in the beginning in order to release that extra cortisol that you did have. You needed it. But as it was starting to decline, that's where we needed to go and dig into your engine and fix it. It's not too late. We can absolutely do that. That's what we do. I'm going to tell you though, it's simple, but it takes time. It takes us 12 months to be able to start really digging into everything and getting it all realigned. We do boost that battery in the beginning. We get that car started again, get that energy, motivation, drive, that short fuse up a little bit, or the short fused calm, and out of that hypervigilant state a bit, the energy up by giving that boost to those hormones and getting those rhythms going with your sleeping and waking and getting your sleep on track. But then we really need to dig into that nervous system, dig into the gut, because that nervous system is going to keep shutting the gut. You can go to a specialist that's going to just work on gut, but it's not going to work if your nervous system keeps shutting off that gut. So we need to be doing them in succinct together, so that we can actually make progress in each as we're going along. If you want help with this, we are more than willing to help you guys. Email us, support@911lifestyle.com. You can private message us, ask us any questions that you have. But do know, if you're on testosterone shots, if you have erectile dysfunction issues, if you can't get to the gym and doing all of these things that used to be that huge stress, that huge testosterone release, you're not alone. A lot. I was going to say most, but it's not most, a lot. They either come in for gut issues. There's all kinds of symptoms. A lot come into our program that are already on testosterone shots, and we get them off of them on proton pump inhibitors and all kinds of antacids and anti-anxiety and antidepressant drugs and all these things. And we get them off of them as we're fixing and healing your stress system. So reach out if you have any questions, and we are always here to help.